Okay, Win. Go explore your new home. We bought a house. We're all moved in, we've got a lot of projects under our belt, and that's exactly what I wanted to talk about today. We've been really busy doing a lot of different projects to just enhance the overall feel and look of our home and make improvements where very necessary. I'm going to start a little series here. A lot of these projects have already been done, so the footage is old. I just need to kind of organize them into different little videos to create this little series and take you along for the ride. Well, we're all moved in. We got our table. That's all we need. We've been here about 43 minutes. And we have some paint samples already on the wall. And we also have some already on the door right here. So we're getting ready to demo this place. Just kidding. But we're gonna demo some baseboards. And we're gonna paint some doors, and we're gonna paint some walls. And Winter is gonna help us through the whole thing because she's excited about it.
We're doing, so far, Green Bayou. And then we are going with Cottage White because we are making our cottage.
Cottage White. Got all the necessary snacks for doing projects.
So far, we're 2 for 2 on picking the color we didn't think we would. So mauve is the last shot. This is the one that I think so far we're gonna go with. But there's one that's a little bit more like orange, maybe you would say.
Orange. Well, Winter and I got up a little earlier so we could go start some projects in the house. And we're currently at Sonic. It's a nice rainy day. The clouds are covering the sky, and Winnie's excited. Look at her, look how excited she looks. Getting some corn dogs for breakfast. So I've got gift cards. So Winnie's being my little shadow, as she usually does. And I've polished off 4 corn dogs. I'm gonna get started on taking off some remaining fixtures, like so. Patching up some drywall holes and things. Well, as the rain falls down harder, I'm beginning to learn some things about our home. This is our front door, and as you can already kind of see, there's some water splashes. Let me show you why. When it rains, it just all hits right in front of the door. So I'm gonna close that so it doesn't continue to get wet inside. But then it just splashes it all into the entrance of our home. So that's pretty cool. Let me show you something else. This pole obviously has seen some water damage because of this. The concrete is just not level at all, and it all slopes towards the house, not away from the house. We have no gutters on here, and I think that's gonna be the solution. But it just all falls really hard right here, compiles, and then it ends up sneaking its way under that into the door. And it's just not fun to like go outside and you just step in a flood of water. So we're gonna need to figure out maybe fixing this concrete and getting some rain gutters so that we don't have this happening every time it rains. Even though it doesn't rain here often, I don't want to deal with this every time. going?
Oh, good. I just took this down.
What is that?
It was like a hook that was up here, which is like cool, I guess. But
For what purpose does that serve?
Probably hanging eucalyptus.
Oh,
It's the only thing that would make sense.
okay.
But now I can't get that screw out.
Just shove it up there and patch it. It'll just be up in the attic somewhere.
Nothing ever happened.
We wanted to improve the doors, and so we went ahead and replaced all of the door handles with these black door handles that we got off of Amazon. Well, I'm just here in the bathroom. Don't worry, guys, I'm not going to the bathroom. I'm putting on a door handle. I've already installed one over there around the corner, and it works just perfectly, so I'm gonna keep installing these. Also, if y'all didn't know that when you're installing a door handle, there usually is some type of mechanism in the handle to take off this part so that when you are screwing in, the handle isn't in the way. So that screw hole, when you're using a screwdriver or something, like this is gonna be in the way. So you can actually remove the handle on most of these so that that's not a problem. And then you just reattach it after you're all done. A little tip for you. We also went ahead and replaced all of the baseboards. So the second that we got the keys, we came into the house and we just started tearing out all of the baseboards.
We made a discovery. I was scoring the baseboards, and Scott comes in, he's like, I just got the baseboards off with a screwdriver.
They were old, they aren't the style we wanted, and they just needed a replacement. We could tell that as we tore these off, it didn't take much effort. They hadn't really been properly installed, and we could tell that they had been reused as well. So it was time for them to be upgraded.
So we're taking all of this out, putting it in the garage for now, just so it's out of the way, cleaning up a little bit.
This was a big learning experience for me, putting new baseboards on. Today I've come over decently early to start cutting baseboards and installing baseboards. So I need to get the saw up and running and then the nail gun up and running so that we can just put them all together. I want to get this all banged out today. There's a bunch of like crap all over the floors because I went around and scraped a bunch of caulking off of the walls. So I need to kind of get that all cleaned up and everything. Jeez, that hurt really bad. I need to figure out just getting the nail gun all put together and situated and ready to go. Get this saw up and running as well. The saw, dude. I'm not a math guy, so where my math skills kind of lacked and abandoned me, my art skills came into play. Wood filler will become my best friend for the baseboards that don't look as great. It kind of looks like I'm just spreading peanut butter all over the corner of the wall, but I'm not. It's not so that Winter can come over here and have a snack. This is wood filler. That one looks really good, but there are some that could look better. And that's where wood filler is gonna step in and help. Wood filler and spackle and stuff like that. And then paint. It'll all look okay in the end. Winnie, don't bark at me. The first baseboard is installed. Don't look too closely. It looks pretty okay, but you know, from afar, just a little dirty, that's all. Anyway, first one in. Just need to make a measurement, cut the second one. All right, so the baseboards are coming along. I've learned a couple things. One thing I learned was that the first baseboard I installed is upside down. I didn't realize that there was slightly more of a curved edge on one side, and then the other side, when you flip it around, it is more squared off, and that side would go towards the ground. It's already there, so it's just gonna be upside down. No one will even be able to tell unless they're like down on their knees and like feeling the baseboard. So from now on, I know what to do correctly, but I'm not gonna go fix that. Something that was really cool about doing this corner was that I cut this one and then installed it. I'm like, all right, cool. Next one I do is this one. So I measured this edge. I went to go measure a scrap piece that I actually had cut off from this one, the same exact measurement. It was the craziest thing. I'll probably have to sand this edge a little bit. It is sharp. I was able to use wood filler and caulking to improve different areas that weren't so great, and they ended up turning out really well. So different corners that needed to be filled in or sanded or made a little bit better, they all look pretty good now. My favorite part was putting these tiny little pieces into each little tiny corner or crevice.
False.
I learned a lot of things with baseboards. I'd never done it before. Never used a nail gun before, so that was kind of fun. When I was doing research on how to do this, I learned that I probably should paint the baseboards before I put them on the walls. But the problem is, being a newbie to this, I was using my feet a lot to like hold the baseboard to the wall in order to nail them down. And so doing that created a lot of dirt and debris on the baseboard. So I would have had to paint them again anyway. So really, I saved myself time by not painting them beforehand because I needed to paint them while they were on, when they were put on anyway. So it would have been silly to paint them before, is what I'm saying. But they all turned out really well when all was said and done. When I got everything painted, it all turned out perfectly. I'm pretty proud of the work that I did. I did end up installing some door stoppers as well after I got everything painted. Part of the initial move-in projects were to paint the entire house. Yeah. We were lucky to have my mother-in-law help us out, and we got everything painted. Every single wall and crevice of the house has been painted now, including the doors and the door frames. So we initially wanted to paint the doors a different color just to kind of have some fun with it, so we chose this green color. We also have plans to spice up these doors later on, which you'll see in another video, with some molding that we will place on the front of the door. They're flat panel doors, as you can see, so there's not really much dimension. We're going to add some molding to kind of make them pop a little bit, give them some personality, and you'll see that later on. Obviously, there's some interesting learns as far as the weather that happens in this climate. It's usually very hot, and we had some rain, some heavy rain that helped us gain some insight into how the house deals with rain. We don't have any leaks in the roof or anything, but we do have obviously some interesting little things happening in the doorways and the patio. So the door thresholds and seals will need to be addressed at some point, and then the patio will also need to be addressed. Because the rain slopes, well, it runs towards the house because of the slope of the patio. So at some point we'll want to fix that because we don't really want water damage or water leaking into the home, as you can see in these videos. So at some point we'll address that. And these are just some of the initial touches that we made. So come back for the next one so that we can show you a little bit about what little things that we did to improve, and just some fun little projects that helped make it feel a little bit more cozy in here.